and no one here has attempted to control her. The greatest problem I have is how to discipline her without breaking her spirit. But I shall insist on reasonable obedience from the start. I-N-K. Ink. It has a name. All right. Down, under, and up. Fine. Just be careful of the needle. You'll keep out of the ink. Perhaps I can keep out of the soup. These ink blots are her handiwork. All right, up! Let's try temperance. Bad girl. Good girl. Very good girl.
What are you spelling to her?
Oh, I was just making conversation, saying it was a sewing card.
But does that mean that to her?
Well, she won't know what spelling is till she knows what a word is.
And yet you keep spelling to her. Why?
I like to hear myself talk.
Captain Keller says it's like spelling to the fence post.
Does he now?
Is it?
Well, no. It's like how I watch you talk to Mildred.
Mildred?
Oh, any baby. Gibberish. Baby talk gibberish. Grown-up gibberish. Do they understand one word of it to start? Well, sooner or later they begin to, if they hear it. And letting Helen hear it.
Other children are not impaired.
Oh, there's nothing impaired in that head. It works like a mousetrap.
Yes, but after a child hears how many words, Miss Annie? 1 million.
I guess no mother's ever bothered enough to count.
What is she spelling?
I spelled card, she spelled cake. Oh no, she won't know what a word is till she knows what things have names.
And when will she learn that?
Maybe after 1,000,001 words.
She'd like to learn those letters, Miss Annie.
Well, I'll teach you in the morning. That makes only 500,000 each.
It's her bedtime. I'm sorry, Miss Annie.
Why does she get a reward? For stabbing me?
We like to catch our flies with honey, I'm afraid. Haven't the heart for much else. Sometimes she simply won't be compelled.
Yes, in the same way myself. The more I think, the more convinced I am that obedience is the gateway through which knowledge enters the mind of the child.
Breakfast ready.
Nope. Shouldn't you give the devil his due, Father? The fact is, we lost the South 2 years earlier when he outthought us behind Vicksburg.
Outthought is a peculiar word for a butcher.
A harness maker, wasn't he?
I said butcher. His only virtue as a soldier was numbers, and he led them to slaughter with no more regard as for so many sheep.
Well, even if in that sense he was a butcher, the fact is...
And a drunken one, half the war.
Agreed, Father. If his own people said he was, I can't argue that he wasn't drunk.
Then what is it you find to admire in such a man, Jimmy? The butchery or the drunkenness?
Neither, Father. Only the fact is that he beat us.
He didn't.
Is it your contention that we won the war, sir?
He didn't beat us in Vicksburg. We lost Vicksburg because Pemberton gave Bragg 5,000 of his cavalry. And Loring, whom I knew for a nincompoop before you were born, marched away from Champion's Hill with enough men to have held them. We lost Vicksburg by stupidity verging on treason.
I would have said we lost Vicksburg because Grant was one thing no Yankee general was before him.
Drunk? I doubt it.
Obstinate.
Obstinate. Can any of them even compare in that with old Stonewall? If he had been there, we'd still have Vicksburg.
Well, the butcher simply wouldn't give up. He tried 4 ways of getting around, and on the 5th try he got around. Anyone else would have pulled
He
north.
wouldn't have got around if there had been a Southerner in command instead of a half-breed Yankee traitor like Pemberton. What's the matter there?
Miss Annie, you see she's accustomed to helping herself from our plate.
Oh, yes, but I'm not accustomed to it.
No, of course not. Bonnie?
Jimmy, give her something to quiet her.
Well, her table manners are the best she has. Well,
Let her this time, Miss Sullivan. It's the only way to get any adult conversation if my son's hat merits that description. I'll fetch you another plate.
Oh, I have a plate.
Viney, I'm afraid what Captain Keller says is only too true. She'll persist in this until she gets her own way.
Bonnie, fetch Miss Sullivan another plate.
I have a plate. There's nothing wrong with the plate. I intend to keep it.
do you see why they took Vicksburg?
Miss Sullivan, one plate or another is hardly an issue to argue with a deprived child about.
Oh, I'd sooner have a more heroic issue myself.
I really must insist that you... Now she's hurt herself.
No, she hasn't.
Will you please let her hands go?
Miss Annie, you don't know the child well enough yet.
I know an ordinary tantrum well enough when I see one. And a badly spoiled child.
Miss Sullivan, you would have a better understanding of your pupil if you had some pity in you. Now kindly do as I'm...
Pity? For this tyrant? The whole house turns on her every whim. Is there anything she wants she doesn't get? I'll tell you what I pity, Captain Keller. That the sun won't rise or set for her all her life, and every day you're telling her it will. What good will your pity do when you're under the strawberries, Captain Keller?
Kate, for the love of heaven, will
Miss
you...
Annie, please. I don't think it serves us to lose our temper.
It does you good, that's all. It's easier to feel sorry for her than to teach her anything better, isn't it?
I don't see where you have taught her anything yet, Miss Sullivan.
I'll begin this minute. If you'll leave the room, Captain Keller.
Leave the room?
Everyone, please.
Miss Sullivan, you are here only as a paid teacher, nothing more, and not to lecture me.
I can't unteach her 6 years of pity if you can't stand up to one tantrum. Old Stonewall, indeed. Mrs. Keller, you promised me help.
Indeed I did. I truly
Then leave
want
me
to.
alone with her. Now.
Katie, will you come outside with me? At once.
Heaven's sake.
Out! Please.
If it takes all summer, General.
This girl, this cub of a girl, presumes I'm of half a mind to ship her back to Boston before the week is out. You can inform her so from me.
Aye, Captain.
She's a hireling. Now, I want it made quite clear, unless there's an apology and complete change of manner, She goes back on the next train. Can you make that quite clear?
And where will you be, Captain, while I'm making it?
At the office.
Will you? I thought what she said was exceptionally intelligent. I've been saying it for years.
To his face? Or will you take it, Jimmy, as a flag?
What am I going to do, Miss Kate? It's noontime, and dinner's coming. And I haven't gotten those breakfast dishes out of there yet.
You run along, Martha.
I can't wait out here a minute longer, Kate. This could go on all afternoon, too.
I'll tell the captain you called.
Never you and Miss Kate say, never you mind what's going on here. Run along, tend to your business. Get out of here. Get.
You say what you like, Kate, but that child is a Keller. Now, I needn't remind you that all Kellers are cousin to General Robert E. Lee. I don't know who that girl is. The only Sullivan I ever heard of, from Boston, too, and I'd think twice before locking her up with that kind, is that boxer John L.
You give me her, Miss Kate. I'll sneak her in back to her crib.
This one never gives me a moment's worry.
Yes. This one's the angel of the family. There's no question about that.
What happened?
She ate from her own plate. She ate with a spoon herself, and she folded her napkin.
Folded her napkin.
The room's a wreck, but her napkin is folded. I'll be in my room, Mrs. Keller.
Don't be long, Miss Annie. Gonna be ready right away.
Folded her napkin. My Helen folded her napkin.
This soul, this blind, deaf, mute woman, can nothing be done to disinter this human soul? The whole neighborhood would rush to save this woman if she were buried alive by the caving in of a pit, and labor with zeal until she were dug out. Now, if there were one who had as much patience as...
Annie? Annie, you there?
Hush.
Annie? What's that noise?
Just a costumey.
Where are they pushing it?
To the dead house.
Annie, does it hurt to be dead?
There is schools.
There is schools outside.
Schools where they teach blightens worse than you. To read.
To read and write.
There is schools outside.
You ain't going to school, are you, Annie?
When I grow up,
You ain't either, Annie. You're going to stay here and take care of me.
I'm going to school when I grow up.
You said we'd be together forever and ever.
I'm going to school when I grow up.
Annie!
Goodbye, Annie.
Don't tell anyone you came from. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, don't tell anyone you came from. Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone.
Annie, it hurts to be dead. Forever.
He might awaken her to a consciousness of her immortal nature. The chance is small indeed, but with a smaller chance they would have dug desperately for her in the pit. And is the life of the soul of less import than that of the body?
Katie, I will not have it. Now, you did not see that girl after supper tonight when she went to look for Helen in her room.
No.
The child practically climbed out of the window to escape from her. What kind of teacher is she? I thought I'd seen her at her worst this morning, yelling at me, but I come home to find the whole house disorganized by her. Helen won't sit in the same room with her, won't sit at the table with her, won't be bathed or undressed or put to bed by her, or even Bonnie now. And the end result is that you have to do more than before we hired this girl's services. Ever since she stepped off the train, she's been nothing but a burden. Impertinent, incompetent, ineffectual, immodest.
She folded her napkin, Captain.
What?
Not ineffectual. Helen did fold her napkin.
What in heaven's name is so extraordinary about folding a napkin?
Well, it's more than you've been able to do, Captain.
Katie, I did not call you all the way out here to the garden house to be frivolous. Now, how does Miss Sullivan propose to teach a deafblind pupil who won't let her even touch her?
I don't know.
The fact is, today she scuttled any chance she has of getting close to the child. Now, if you can see any reason for her staying on here longer, then...
What do you wish me to do, Captain?
I want you to give her notice.
I can't.
Well, if you can't, then I must. I simply cannot continue to tolerate her behavior. It's just driving me insane. Miss Sullivan.
Captain Keller, Viney said I'd find you both out here in the garden house. I thought we should have a talk.
Yes. Well, come in. Katie.
Captain?
Well, I first wanted to make my position clear with Mrs. Keller in private. I have decided, that is, that I am dissatisfied. In fact, am deeply dissatisfied in the manner in which you...
Excuse me, is this little house ever in use?
In the hunting season, if you'll give me your attention. Now, I've tried to make allowances for you because you come from a part of the country where people are, women, I should say, well, for whom allowances must be made. That is, I've decided that Miss Sullivan, I find it hard to talk through those glasses.
Oh, of course.
Why do you wear them? The sun has been down for an hour.
Any kind of light hurts my eyes.
Put them on, Miss Sullivan. I've decided to give you another chance.
To do what?
To remain in our employ, but on two conditions. I am not accustomed to rudeness in servants or women. That is the first. For you to stay, there must be a complete change of manner.
Whose?
Yours, young lady. Isn't it obvious? And second is that you persuade me that there's the slightest hope of you reaching a child who runs from you now like the plague to anyone she can find in this house.
There isn't.
What, Miss Annie?
Well, it's hopeless here. I can't teach a child who runs from me.
Then do I understand that you propose to...
Well, if we all agree it's hopeless
Miss
here,
Annie!
the next question...
I'm not agreed. I think perhaps you underestimate Helen.
I think everyone else here does.
She did fold her napkin. She learns. She learns. Did you know she began talking when she was just 6 months old? She could say water. Not really. Wawa. Wawa. But she knew it meant water, and only 6 months old. I never saw a child so bright and outgoing. Still in her somewhere, isn't it? Wish you could have known her before her illness. She was such a well-tempered child.
She's changed.
Put up with it, Miss Annie. And with us.
Us?
Please. Like the lost lamb in the parable, I love her all the more.
Mrs. Keller, I don't think Helen's worst handicap is her deafness or blindness. I think it's your love and pity.
Now, what does that mean?
You all are so sorry for her. You've kept her like a pet. Like even a dog you housebreak. No wonder she won't let me come near her. It's impossible for me to teach her language or anything else here. I might as well...
Miss Annie, before you came, we spoke of putting Helen in an asylum.
Which kind of an asylum?
for mental defectives.
I visited there, and I can't tell you the things I saw. People like animals with rats in the hallways. What else are we to do if you give up?
Give up?
You said it was hopeless.
Well, here, I only today saw what needs to be done to begin. I want complete charge of her.
You already have that, and it has resulted in...
No, I mean day and night. She has to be dependent on me.
For what?
Everything. The food she eats, the clothes she wears, fresh air, yes, the air she breathes. Everything her body needs is a primer to teach her out of. Well, it's the only way. The one who lets her have it should be her teacher, not anyone who loves her. But you have so many feelings, they fall over each other like feet. You won't use your chances and you won't let me.
But if she runs from you to us...
Well, yes, that's the point. I'll have to live with her somewhere else.
What?
Until she learns to depend on and listen to me.
For how long?
As long as it takes. I packed half my things already.
Miss Sullivan.
Captain Keller, it meets both your conditions. It's the one way I can get back in touch with Helen. And I don't see how I can be rude to you if you're not around to interfere with me.
And what is your intention if I say no? Pack the other half for home and leave your charge to...
The asylum. I grew up in such an asylum. The state almshouse. Rats. Why, my brother Jimmy and I used to play with rats because we didn't have toys. Maybe you'd like to know what Helen would find there not on visiting days? One ward was full of the old women. Crippled, blind, most of them dying. But even if what they had was catching, there was nowhere else to move them. And that's where they put us. There were younger ones across the hall, prostitutes mostly, with TB and epileptic fits. A couple of the kind who keep after other girls, especially young ones. Some insane. Some just had the DTs. The youngest were in another ward to have babies they didn't want. Started at 13, 14. They leave afterwards, but the babies stayed. We played with them too. But most of them had sores all over from diseases you're not supposed to talk about. Not many of them lived. We had 80 the first year. 70 died. The room Jimmy and I used to play in was the dead house where they kept the bodies till they could dig the graves. No. It made me strong. But I don't think you need send Helen there. She's strong enough. No, Captain Keller. I have no conditions.
Where would you take her?
Oh, Italy?
What?
Can't have everything. How would this garden house do? We'll furnish it. Bring her here after a long ride so she won't recognize it. And you can both see her every day if she doesn't know. Well?
Is that all?
That's all.
Oh, Captain, with your permission.
Why must she depend on you for the food she eats?
I want control of it.
Do you intend to starve her into letting you touch her?
She won't starve, she'll learn. Well, all's fair in love and war, Captain Keller. You never cut supplies.
This is hardly a war.
Well, it's not love. A siege is a siege.
Miss Sullivan, do you like the child?
Do you?
You could have a servant here.
Well, I'll have enough work with us looking after a servant. Oh, but that boy, Percy, well, he could sleep here, run errands.
I think we could let Percy sleep here. Captain?
Oh, and some old furniture, all our own.
Captain, do you think that walnut bedstand in the barn
I
would be...
have not yet consented to Percy, or to the proposal, or to Miss Sullivan staying on when I... Very well, I consent to everything. For 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks in this place, and it will be a miracle if you can get her to tolerate you.
2 weeks? Miss Annie, can you do anything in 2 weeks?
Anything or not. 2 weeks. Then Helen comes back to us. Make up your mind, Miss Sullivan. Yes or no?
2 weeks for just one miracle? I'll get her to tolerate me.
You can't think as little of love as you said, or you wouldn't stay.
I didn't come for love. I came for money. A. It's the first of many. 26. I always wanted to live in a doll's house.
You don't give up easily, do you? How will you win her hand now in this place?
So I know. I lost my temper, and here we are.
No touching, no teaching? Of course, you are bigger.
I'm not counting on force. I'm counting on her. That little imp is dying to know.
Know what?
Well, anything. Any and every crumb in God's creation. I'll have to use that appetite, too.
Maybe she'll teach you.
Well, of course.
That she isn't. That there's such a thing as dullness of heart, acceptance, and letting go. Sooner or later, we all give up, don't we?
Maybe you all do. It's my idea of the original sin.
What is?
Giving up.
You won't open her. Why can't you let her be? Have some pity on her for what she is.
If I ever once thought like that, I'd be dead.
You will be. Why bother? Or will you teach me?
Does she know where she is?
We rode her out in the country for 2 hours.
For all she knows, she could be in another town.
That's her sign for me.
I know. In 2 weeks.
Miss Annie, please take care of her.
I will. Two weeks. What have I got myself into now?
I can't understand it. I had every intention of dismissing that girl, not setting her up like an empress.
Yes, what's her secret, sir?
Secret?
That enables her to get anything she wants out of you when I
She
can't.
does not get anything she
Don't!
wants.
Captain!
He's afraid. What does he want out of me?
Don't you know? Everything you forgot when you forgot my mother.
What? One thing that girl's secret is not, she does not fire one shot and disappear. Katie, don't listen to him.
Captain, I'm proud of you.
For what?
For letting this girl have what she needs.
Why can't my son be? He can't bear me. You think I treat him as hard as that girl does Helen.
Perhaps you do.
But he has to learn respect.
Do you like the child? The house sure is empty tonight.
No, no pity. I won't have it on either of us. I will touch you. I will. How do I? Percy, 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 wake up. Get out of bed and come in here. I need you. Percy, you awake?
No.
How would you like to play a nice game?
What?
With Helen. She's under the covers. Touch her hand.
Let me go. She's trying to talk. She's going to hit me.
She can talk. If she only knew. I'll show you how. She makes letters. Like this. This one is C. C. She's mad at me now, though. She won't play. But she knows lots of letters. And here's another. A. C. A. C. A. C-A-K-E. She spells cake, she gets cake. She doesn't know yet it means this. Well, isn't it funny she knows how to spell it, but doesn't know she knows? Well, if she won't play it with me, I'll play it with you. How would you like to learn one she doesn't know?
No.
M-I-L-K. M is this. I, that's easy, just the little finger. No. Why should I talk to you? I'm teaching Percy a new word. L is this. K. Huh. You're jealous, are ya? M-I-L-K. M-I-L-K. So, I'm finally back to where I can touch ya, Well, touch and go, no love lost. But here we are. You can go to bed now. You've earned your sleep. Thank you. Now all I have to do is teach you one word. Everything. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird won't sing, Mama's gonna buy a diamond ring. And if that diamond ring turns to brass, Mama's gonna buy a looking glass. And if that looking glass gets broke, Mama's gonna buy a billy goat. And if that billy goat won't pull, Mama's gonna buy a cart and bull. And if that cart and bull turns over, Mama's gonna buy a dog named